Hi, I'm Out of the Collective from Australia. I'm going to do a video today on the first four Christian heavy metal albums that I bought and owned in the mid-80s. So this is going to be a nostalgic video for me today, and something I felt just really passionate about just recently. It was a golden era for Christian music in general for me. I was fortunate to be introduced to a lot of awesome music, and having recently only become a Christian a few months before I discovered this music, this was amazing to discover. I'd only heard bands like, or artists like Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith or Petra and Whiteheart up until this point. So it would have been mid to late 85 where I walked into what was known as Word Bookstore at the time, a Christian bookstore, and they had a album on the shelf that took my eye, and it was this first Christian heavy metal album I ever discovered was Stryper's Soldiers Under Command. I lost a cassette years ago, but I bought it on cassette back then. This was a fantastic album that really just blew me away from the start. The very first song you hear is the title track, Soldiers Under Command. It has an amazing heavy melodic feel to it. I just couldn't believe it. I'm just stunned hearing it on headphones on cassette in 1985. It was heavy melodic, and I was just stunned thinking that there was actually music like this devoted to God that was rivaling what I knew before, bands like Iron Maiden and so on. So this was just shocked me completely, but it was filled with some fantastic songs. It's my favourite Stryper album still. I'm not a huge fan of Stryper these days, but this album has, as I said, Soldiers Under Command, makes me want to sing. The heavy track, The Rock That Makes Me Roll, the last track on the first side of the cassette, that was fast towards the end, and it's my favourite song on this album. It's really, really good, and shows that Stryper can be really heavy and fast at times when they want to, and they were great live. I've always found them really good live. The other great track for me on this album was Surrender, second from last. That was a really heavy melodic song, really classic. That's one of the two best songs to me was Surrender and The Rock That Makes Me Roll. But the whole album is really good. The standout also for me is the ballad, fourth track, First Love. I don't really get into Stryper's ballads that much, but this one was really different. It starts off soft with some really good keyboards to start off with, and it develops into a heavier rocking tune, but I love this tune still. It's really good, and they don't really do ballads that good anymore. It's definitely my favourite of their ballads to this day. But yeah, this is just a fantastic album, and it was the first of four great albums on this period for me in 85, 86 in the Christian heavy metal scene. So then next after that, it would have been, because the album wasn't released till I think early 86, was the second album by Messiah Prophet band called Master of the Metal. I reckon I got this sometime in the first half of 86 on cassette, of course, and this was amazing. This is traditional heavy metal with a sort of, old school medieval feel to it. It was different to the Stryper album, wasn't as polished, but I just love this album actually more. I couldn't stop playing this all the time. It was filled with all the tracks I loved, especially the first track, Hit and Run, that starts off with some sirens going, and it just really gets the album going fantastically. Master of the Metal, track 2 is excellent as well. For Whom Does the Bell Toll, a bit of medieval sort of acoustic guitars throughout that, and my favourite track on the album is the fourth track, Fear No Evil. That was a faster driving song, and it just has a real great faster period towards the end. I love this track, definitely my favourite on the album. Every song, it had a really devoted sort of, devotional type lyrical feeling to some of the songs. Battle Cry towards the end is a real heartfelt song about going through hard times spiritually and hanging on to faith, and just had a real medieval feel to it as well. The last song on the album, The Voice That's Calling, that's one of my favourites too. That's a long track, and it's very passionate, melodic, and features the voice of Charlie Clark, who passed away I think in 2018. This is a very distinctive album and they only did 3 albums, one before this and one later, but this album had this lineup that stayed only on this album together. Really, really good album, and I should get this out and I will put this in my car and have another listen again soon. It's just fantastic. I haven't heard it for a long time, but this was probably my favourite of the albums in this period. But yeah, this was early '86, I think. And then the next album I got was definitely was Leviticus's album, The Strongest Power, which has come out in 1986. Their second album, I think. I didn't get into the first album, but this is I discovered this in Word Bookstore as well, just like the other 2 albums. And I've actually still got the cassette version of this, which I bought in '86, and I've kept it for nostalgic reasons. I just love this album. Similarly, it has a raw feeling like the Messiah Prophet album, but it's just it's from Sweden. They had a particular style to them that, you know, that Swedish sound, influenced by, you know, Swedish music before them. But this had some great songs on it too. The Winner, track 1, is a fantastic opener, really triumphant, talking about how because of Jesus we're all winners. We can't lose. It's awesome lyrics. They had real positive lyrics to their albums. On the Rock, a good sort of love song, track 3. King of Kings, track 4. I listened to this album a lot in the next few years, and I could praise God to these lyrics, because I really felt like you're really in battle, but you're able to enjoy God's presence, listen to this music greatly. Very passionate, and, you know, dare I say it was anointed, this album. King of Kings, yet. Track 5 is a harder, faster song, Stay With Us. That's a really good tune. Just classic metal. Probably my favourite on this album. I love the ending to this. I got Power. Track 6 is a fast tune too. Look Around, very anointed lyrics and passionate singing through that one. Also, a couple other favourites on here were A New Day, second from the end, which also had really devotional type lyrics to God on it, and makes you want to praise God, listen to it. And also the last song, Light for the World, that's a good, hard, faster sort of tune. That was a classic way to end off the album. So yeah, this album I played a lot in the next few years until, you know, 89, 90. And like I said, I got this CD release years ago, probably 2010, and it had a few bonus tracks which I didn't really get into, except for the long one called Min Mistari, which had a great keyboard intro, which probably didn't fit the original feel because it was totally, you know, had a lot of keyboards through it, but I love that track. That was a great song on there. But yeah, this is superb, and like I said, the third of amazing albums I discovered in this 2-year period. And then we go to the fourth one, which is the second, or the third Stryper album, but the second I owned was To Hell with the Devil. Now this is another great album by Stryper. To me, the two best I've done was this one and Soldiers Under Command. This I originally owned on cassette, which I still also have the cassette of this, which is the original album cover, which I love, and I'm still annoyed that I haven't got this cover they did was sort of sanitized because of the fear in some markets of how scary the other cover was, which to me is bizarre. But, you know, I'd like to get a version with the original cover, with the cassette cover like this. Obviously, sometime it needs to be re-released like that. Anyway, but this was a great album. Again, it had some great harder tunes on here. Starts off with a ambient, sort of dark, atmospheric ambient intro, which a lot of fans didn't like, but I love because I love a lot of electronic music, and that was a fantastic atmospheric intro called Abyss, To Hell with the Devil. And then the first track is there's a title track, which is they've played many, many times, and there's a 3-track sequence there that's superb. It goes into Calling on You, which is probably my favourite, almost my favourite on the album, and then Free, and it also features 2 of my favourite Stryper songs of all time, 2 more heavier ones. I love their heavier stuff the most, and that was The Way, track 6, which was written by Oz Fox, and that was a harder, faster one, which features Michael Sweet, doing a fantastic long scream at the end. Superb song, heavy and melodic, and right up there is one of my favourite Stryper songs. And the last track, More Than a Man, is probably my favourite song on this album. Heavy, fast, and really great lyrics about Jesus being not just a man but God in flesh. How many times I listened to this album in that time? Many times in that next 2 or 3 years. So yeah, this was just an amazing period for me to discover these 4 albums and enjoy a golden era of Christian music, not just in heavy metal but in pop and rock. But I was really into heavy metal a lot, especially after this. But yeah, these 4 albums just was the perfect introduction for me to Christian heavy metal, and I was really into these albums, and they were the perfect segue into what I call the golden era of Christian metal from about 88 to 1993, which is mostly more heavier albums, and they featured many bands such as the one I've got here, Seventh Angel, and my favourite bands such as Sacred Warrior, Believer, Tourniquet, Deliverance, Vengeance, and so on. I'll be doing another video that features all those, covers a lot of those albums sometime soon. But yeah, I just thought I'd just do this video just to cover what I believe is, you know, a very amazing period to be introduced to Christian heavy metal, 1985-86. To have those 4 albums as my first 4 Christian metal albums was just amazing. And yeah, I'm just very blessed that I still own these, and it was the perfect intro, and there wasn't a lot of Christian heavy metal in that time, but these 4 were the first 4, and gradually I got into like heavier music later on and bands that were more my favourites, but this period was absolutely superb. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.